Hey you guys, Kiwi here, and today we're going to be covering just a little bit of spicy drama that's been going on between two of the larger channels in the skeptic community here on YouTube. I normally don't get into these types of things, but this actually got a little bit juicy, depending on whose video you watch first. The drama is between Computing Forever and Sargon of Akkad. Computing Forever is a smaller channel, he's popped up a lot more recently, and if you don't know who Sargon is by now, you must live under a rock or something. Basically, it all started whenever Computing Forever decided to have a live stream discussing education and young boys and how feminism is affecting all of this in a very negative way, which is actually something I'm going to be covering soon because it's a very important topic as well. But then this happened.
On Sunday, myself and Independent Man were streaming on my channel. I was doing a stream about how boys are underachieving academically and how feminists seem to be celebrating this fact. And we were running through a number of articles. And I saw Sargon was in the chat, so I invited him in to talk about that subject. And what ended up happening was that he hijacked the stream completely and bulldogged the entire time to talk about the rise in this these communist far-left parties, Jeremy Corbyn and his supporters, what he's referring to as Trotskyism, and how he wants to try and stop this by happening, ironically, by giving in to them, which I think is extraordinary. I'll get into more of that later. Long story short, I allowed this conversation to go on. I allowed him to talk over me and Independent Man several times. I allowed him to completely derail the discussion, and at the time, I was kind of breezing in and out of this. I tried a couple of times to pull it back unsuccessfully to the topic of the conversation, and I was weak. I mean, this was a mistake on my behalf. I have nobody to blame for what happened on that stream but myself. He was brought on the stream to talk about a particular thing which we didn't talk about, and I could have said, Carl, that's great, I'm going to mute you now, but this is a fascinating conversation which is perfect for another milieu, but we're going to go back to the topic of boys struggling academically.
So, Computing Forever unexpectedly and unplanningly brought Sargon onto this stream, which was obviously not a wise decision. He didn't want to talk about the subject they had at hand, he wanted to just go on about stuff, and he didn't understand that it was a serious stream about something else, which isn't his fault really, because he had just popped in. But at that point, Computing Forever should have just...
I'm going to mute you now. We're going to go back to the topic of boys struggling academically.
And it would have been over. So from Sargon's point of view, Computing Forever is really just being extremely butthurt about something that's completely unnecessary. However, he does draw a line of logic from this that is extremely serious, and it's part of the reason Computing Forever and I can't really get on his side of this thing either.
And this is, I mean, these people won't go away until the problems they're asking for have been solved. And I guess we can solve them either their way or our way. Eventually they're going to get what they want. Eventually it's going to happen, and the people on, I'm not going to say our side, the people on your side aren't growing as fast, I don't think.
That is the same line of logic that liberals and conservatives used to use on people like me, libertarians, a few years ago during the Obama-Romney, during the Obama-McCain, during pretty much every election up to this point. Oh, you don't have a chance of winning, so you might as well just drop what morals you have and vote for someone who's running. Someone in one of the main two parties. Someone who has a chance. And while I agree that the other two candidates don't really have much of a chance this year, it seems, with Gary Johnson and the Green Party, they still do have one. They are on the map this year, and that is more than I can say for previous elections. It's impressive. As far as this election goes, all I can say is anybody but Hillary. But I guess what this really comes down to is, this is just petty drama. Both of your channels cover a lot more important things than this, and getting hung up on it and making hours-long videos about it responding to each other is, I guess a little unnecessary at this point. I like Computing Forever's and Sargon's channels, but just because you're a skeptic doesn't mean you have to have the same ideological backbone. But anyway, that's all. Just a short video to sum up the drama so you don't have to go and watch 5.5 hours of footage on something that was not productive in any way. But it's somewhat entertaining if you want to actually watch the stream. It's linked from Computing Forever's Sargonism video. I have a viewer named IamLi3 that you might want to check out. His recent video about us being doomed actually strikes a few chords, and although I can't agree 100% with the video, I rarely agree 100% with anything. So it may be worth checking out. Aside from one or two keynotes in the video, I find it fairly accurate. Anyways, that's all guys. If you'd like to check out some beats I've made recently and stuff like that, check me out on SoundCloud, or consider subscribing below. Or not. It's up to you. Have a good day.